weekend, throughout all of the restorative yoga, yin yoga, and meditation practices, I'd like for you to have an understanding of a concept which is directly from the ancient wisdom of yoga and Ayurveda. And these two sciences are sister sciences. So I actually studied Ayurveda first and then studied yoga, and I found that yoga is the yoke, that's what yoga means, that pulls everything together, and it really made a lot of the Ayurvedic concepts applicable in a way that before I thought it was amazing, but I wasn't sure how to make it applicable into my life. So my hope is that I can teach these things to you, and that it will carry you through your life in a more spiritual, more conscious, more aware way. One such concept is the chakras. And I've got here just a little tiny book of chakras. I'm going to talk about chakras. I'll read from this book about chakras, and then at the end of this video, we're going to pull some chakra cards. And yes, after you've completed, the thoughts are coming to me as I'm making the video. Once you've completed this specific video, I'd like you to text me or call me, and I am going to shuffle these tarot cards, and you're going to tell me when to stop, and we'll be energetically connected, and I'll pull a card for you and read you what your card says. These are so beautiful. I have two decks of tarot. Neither are traditional, but both are based on traditional tarot. I pull from one of them every night, and I pull from this deck just on the new moon, full moon, change of seasons, equinox, etc. But it is beautiful. On the back, they feature all the chakras. In fact, I'm going to use that in a moment when we talk about them. And then it just has all this gorgeous imagery. So, let's see. Flexibility, something that you'll gain from yin yoga later today or tomorrow, depending on when you decide. So anyway, at the completion of this video, please call me, text me, and let's pull a card for you. So before we even dig into the chakras and talk about them, I want to give you another outline which is used in Ayurveda, and yoga borrowed this from Ayurveda, and it's really the basis of my every waking moment. I tune into this concept. It's the 5-body concept. And this has been something that's allowed me I live with depression, and I do just want to say, in case you have never had depression or you don't live with depression, depression doesn't mean being sad about something. I'm actually very happy and really optimistic and positive. I always have been, and my life is wonderful, and I have nothing to be sad about. Nothing to be sad about. However, depression is something different. Depression is a chemical inheritance from one parent or the other, or both, that it's just something you live with. You either are depressed or you're not. It's, in my opinion, I'm not a clinician, but it's not something that, it doesn't mean that you're sad about something, if that makes sense. The only frame of reference, or the only metaphor that I have for that would also be migraine. If you've ever had migraines and you hear someone with a really terrible headache, saying like, oh, I have this migraine, and if you've had a migraine, you're like, I don't think you're having a migraine right now. I think you're having a terrible headache, which is one symptom of a migraine. But you know, a migraine is it's similar to a stroke. People sometimes think they're having a stroke. when they're having a migraine, and they go to the ER. So I've never had a terrible headache before in my life. I'm just going to be really honest, knock on some wood. And I'm so sorry for people that suffer from headaches, because I understand that that's like awful, and I can't even imagine. I know tooth pain sucks, and I don't want head pain. But, maybe when I get a fever, that's when I've experienced headaches. But I don't think it's as bad as you or someone who has bad headaches might have experienced. But I have had 2 migraines, and it is not a fun, pleasant experience. Because of the way my head is wired, I guess, I didn't have an accompanying headache with my migraine. I only had the aura, and then the anxiety, the nausea, the extreme sensitivity to sound and light and cold. And it's a state of being, and it's awful. And then once I had one, then I lived in fear of, when is the next one going to come on? Which then the second one I had was at a Fleetwood Mac concert, which was really hard because I didn't want to not be there, but I felt it starting in the car, and then it happened. For me, it was hormonally triggered and stress, and I have since not had one. I think that was 2015, 2016 maybe. But anyway, I digress hugely. The difference between a headache and a migraine for me is like the difference between being upset about something and being depressed. Like, being sad isn't depressed. Being depressed is a chemical imbalance in the body. And if you have depression, if you live with depression, then you know it might feel like, to me it feels like someone is holding onto my ankles at all times, this like shadow. And if I don't do the things that I know to do to keep it there down at my shadow, then it can begin to rise and consume me. And when it gets to about here, that's the stage where it's like, why should I get out of bed? What's the point? What's the point? What's the point? And then I guess if it were to completely consume, that's when you get into suicide and self-harm. How did I get there? Thank you so much for indulging my divergences, and this is the way it works. I'm channeling right now. I just kind of channel what needs to be said to use specific group of 5 beautiful women, and this is what's coming out. So I hope that this is helpful, and I hope that it's not like, what is she talking about? Anyway, this 5-body system helps me live with depression without being medicated. I'm not against medication, just in my own body, the way that I've been able to deal with depression, the best way has been the 5 Koshas system. Anything that people with depression can do to keep the shadow way down to the ankles, I'm down for. Medication, medication, medication. I used to be completely against pharmaceuticals, and then I married a man with post-traumatic stress disorder, and I've never been so grateful for what pharmaceuticals do for him. Oh, and I have a thyroid pharmaceutical, so. The 5-body system and depression. Depression, anxiety, really anything that's, even just a worried mind, even if you've not got a diagnosis of something and you just feel like, I just get stuck in my head a lot, or I get stuck, period. The 5-body system, the Koshas system, is something for you to know. The 5-body system is, and I invite you to close your eyes and listen, unless you want to see Bo, and then you can leave your eyes open. No, so the 5-body system consists of the fact that we are all made up of 5 sheaths, 5 layers, 5 bodies. The outer body is the Annamaya Kosha. Kosha means sheath or veil. So the Annamaya Kosha, A-N-A-M-A-Y-A, Annamaya, it's made of food. It's called the food body. That's how it's translated, and that's our gross body, Not like disgusting, but gross as in the opposite of subtle. The gross body is made of food, it's physical, we can touch it. The gross body is where we have our amazing five senses: sight, hearing, smell, touch, taste. And a lot of us only live in the body, in the physical body. And maybe you identify yourself as, yeah, of course that's part of my body, that's what I am. But I invite you to just take a minute and notice that that's not all you are. You're something else. So the place where the chakras comes in is the next layer of body, the energetic sheath, the pranamaya kosha, Prana, Maya, Maya. The pranamaya kosha is the energetic body. So if your eyes are closed, or if you close them now, begin to notice the sensation in your hands and the bottoms of your feet. Can you feel a tingling sensation? Can you feel the energy moving through your body? Can you feel your heart beating? Those energetic impulses. And we can't feel them, but you know that your brain is firing energetic signals across your synapses, from axon to axon, dendrite to dendrite, cell to cell. A lot of the body is wired. We have a wired system in our body, but we also, even in the wired system, there are gaps. And it takes an energetic connection for the nervous system. And the endocrine system is what we call a wireless system, where the hormones are reaching their target cells through energetic connection. So energy is real. Prana means the life force that we bring into the body through breath. So the pranamaya kosha is the energy body, but you may know of the term pranayama, which means breath work. And you may be wondering, doesn't prana mean breath? It means the energy that you bring in with your breath. So the pranamaya kosha, the second layer, the energy body. The third layer is your manomaya kosha. And you're using your manomaya kosha right now to listen to me and process words. It's the mind body. It's the emotional body as well. So everything you think, this is the mind body. And if you've been deluded into thinking your thoughts are you, take a minute and notice that there's more to you than your thoughts. Just because you think something doesn't mean it's reality. Think about those crazy thoughts a lot of us have between 3 and 5 a.m. that seem really important. And then in the morning, the light of day, it's kind of like, oh my gosh, I'm so silly. Can't believe I thought the world was ending because I'm out of peanut butter. It's going to be okay. I can get new peanut butter. So the Annamaya Kosha is the food body. The Pranamaya Kosha, the energetic body. And then the Manomaya Kosha, the mind body. Your thoughts, your emotions. Can you notice what thoughts you're having right now? Without jumping into those thoughts, can you just notice? So think about being a passenger and your mind is a train. Can you look at the train without hopping on the train? Just watch the train go by. And similarly, can you notice the emotional state that you're in right now? Notice how your emotions are. It's also part of your Manomaya Kosha. What's up for you? Let me give you a moment to feel your emotions. And let the emotions too be like a train that you're watching the train in the distance, or maybe you're up close. But you don't have to get on that train, you're just noticing. And that brings us to the fourth body, the Vijnanamaya Kosha. The Vijnanamaya is the wisdom body, the witness body. So that space that you entered to watch that train of your thoughts, the space that you entered to notice your energy body, to notice your food body, that is the wisdom body. It's that state of witnessing, of noticing, that state of pure being. So there are no emotions or thoughts or senses in this body. It's just the body that notices. And this is the place that we want to reach when we're in meditation. I'll say again later, but I'll say it now so that it's repetition next time you hear it. Meditation is not a time when we quiet our thoughts or quiet our minds or escape our mind. It's a time when we notice the mind without getting hooked in. So the fifth body, the final body, the true self, the true body, is the Anandamaya Kosha. Ananda means bliss. Your bliss body is that divine spark within you, that light and awareness, your true self. We can try to witness it. We might even be able to be inside that bliss body for half of a second or more. The thing is, once we notice we're there, we're not there anymore, because to notice takes the mind. And we are human beings, we're not just beings. It is my own personal belief system that we are all beings, and right now we're having a human experience. If that makes sense to you, then you can let that be true for you. And if that's just utter nonsense, balderdash to you, you just let that go. What's true for me doesn't need to be true for you. But I do believe that we are beings having this human experience, and as humans, we need to be in the other four bodies, the food body, the mind body, the breath body, the witness body. And we always retain our true selfness, our true divine spark, the part of us that is part of each other, that is part of the divine all around us. A piece of the universe, a piece of stardust, a piece of starlight rather, a piece of God, whatever you call God. We can't stay in that state of enlightenment. If we did, we would cease to be human. But while we're here on earth having this human experience, we can touch bliss. We can touch the Anandamaya Kosha. We can notice the Anandamaya Kosha. We can experience it time and time again whenever we need to. And the more we try, the more we succeed. If you can't notice this body, I invite you to imagine what it would be like if you could. Imagine what it would be like if you had a divine spark, a piece of the universe living inside of you. And if you can imagine it, then it is so. So if you've had your eyes closed, you can return them to space and time, to the here and the now. Those are the koshas. Those are the 5 bodies. And having a knowledge of these 5 bodies is going to be helpful when we go through our restorative yoga practice, which is really like taking one nap after another in different positions that support your body, your Anandamaya Kosha. Having that concept, it's also going to help you when we go into the yin practices, because you'll want to be in a state where you can notice that you're very uncomfortable without being bothered by how uncomfortable you are. And I also hope that it's something that can help you in your daily life, whether you struggle from depression and anxiety, or you're just having thoughts right now or any time in your life where it's a sense of groundlessness. That's what Pema says, Pema Chodron, when the ground has been taken from us. Unexpected change, groundlessness. These 5 body systems are something that you can really tune into and help heal yourself, help feed the wolf, the love wolf, by noticing like, okay, this tangible reality, not the only reality. This mind, these thoughts that I'm thinking, not necessarily true. And that's not me, that doesn't define me. This witness body, this beautiful space where I can go and be and notice, it feels pretty good in there. I'm going to go there. And the Anandamaya, touching back to your spirit. So I hope that's helpful for you. And without further ado, we'll get a little lighter. Let's get into the chakras. So the energy body system, these 7 main wheels of energy, chakras, think of them as wheels not like a flat wheel, but as a whole globe, spinning and turning inside yourself in 7 different centers of the body. At the bottom, the very base of the body, in the perineal tissue, the legs and feet, we have the root chakra, the Muladhara chakra at the root. And the reason that I think we're all, the first hoarding that we went to, and I did see this on another yoga video, and it made so much sense to me. I want to share it here in case you haven't seen it. The reason that we all went to toilet paper in times of crisis, that's about the Muladhara Bandha. I'm so sorry. Muladhara Bandha is a lock that you take with your perineum to hold in prana. And we might talk about that in the yoga practice in a later video. But it's the same root word as Muladhara. I'm going to stop saying Bandha. It's like, I say it so often in yoga that it just comes off my tongue. But we're not talking about bandhas. Rewind yourself. We're talking about the Muladhara chakra. Muladhara chakra is about being grounded, rooted, having our basic needs for survival met. Food, shelter, toilet paper to wipe, Like, so that's the first thing that people thought of, like, oh my God, there's this pandemic, I'm gonna need to wipe. It's super cute and sweet, and it's nice to see. It's nice to see that the chakra system is alive in people, even if they're not aware of it. Even if there's people who are gonna go through life never awakened, never woke to the fact that they are more than this. At least the energy body is speaking to them and saying, okay, some toilet paper. Do you have shelter? Do you have food? Do you have toilet paper? Check, check, check. Okay, then we're in good shape for survival. The second chakra is the sacral chakra. The sacral chakra is the center for creativity, for nourishment, for nurturing. So this extends from the sacrum, hence the name sacral, to the front of the body, because remember, it's a wheel. This is not flat. This is a lot of our feminine energy comes from here. In Ayurveda, we call it the Shakti energy. The Shakti energy, the goddess energy, the feminine energy that's awakening all over the planet, not just in women, but in men as well. This beautiful orange creative energy. This is both where we create life. Think of the womb holding a child. It's also our source of inspiration for creating a project or creating something artistic. If you've ever taken a class with Claire Miller, she's a mentor of mine, and she, of course, focuses almost entirely on this second chakra area, this feminine giving area, and she says that when women are ovulating, how important it is to create something, whether it's baking muffins or making a painting or sculpting or making jewelry or making a list, checking it twice, or making a baby. Whatever you're making, that ovulation is like just rife and ripe with this beautiful, rich, creative sacral chakra energy. The third chakra is the solar plexus chakra. So go ahead and put your hand over your belly and put your other hand opposing on your spine so that it's like you're holding your entire solar plexus chakra. This is our center for for self-worth, for feeling worthy, feeling like we deserve something, feeling confident, and feeling like we're driven to do something. This is the seat of the ego. The literal seat of the ego is in the brain, and we'll talk about that probably in the next video, how it resides in the left brain. But here, this is our sense of self, our sense of self-worth, and our sense of self comes from here, from the core. So if you think of these lower 3 chakras, 1, 2, and 3, these are the human chakras to our human being. This is where we've got survival, shelter, food. We've got finding a mate and having sex and being sensual and taking care of the family and nurturing and all this. And then we've got our sense of self. Who are we? Who do we want to be? Our ego self, our separate. I'm separate from you. I'm different. I dance. You sculpt. You know, this is our lower three. These tell us who we as individuals are. This is our human experience here in the first, second, and third chakras. Then we move into the fourth chakra, the heart chakra, which is the bridge between the human chakras and the being chakras, which we'll talk about in a moment. The heart is the center for forgiveness, compassion, gratitude, and what are those languages of? Remember, love. They're love languages. The heart is where we can soften and open and feel and notice and be. The fifth chakra is the throat chakra. Put your hand on the front of your throat, on the back of your neck. This is where the thyroid is. This is our voice, our authentic expression, our creativity, our sense of putting it out there in the world, our song, our truth, our vulnerability, our realness. What's more vulnerable than the throat? And this endocrine gland, the thyroid, is the powerhouse that sits here and controls homeostasis through body temperature and metabolism and depression versus non-depression. Beautiful thyroid, beautiful fifth chakra. This is think of this kind of expression being different than this kind of expression. This creativity here that comes from the sacral chakra, which is very nurturing and I'm making something. This is a more being kind of expression. This is like channeling who I really am in the world and not being afraid to have my voice heard, to speak, to sing, to connect to the right brain. La, 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 la. Any kind of singing is going to bring us into that world of being. Rising up to the sixth chakra, sixth energy center, still inside the pranamaya kosha. All of these chakras are in the pranamaya kosha. We come to the third eye. The third eye, go ahead and put your head between your hands so that you've got one cradling the back of your head, one holding the space between your eyebrows on the forehead, and encompassing all that beautiful brain in between. Know that this is your seat for insight, for deeply seeing, for seeing with your eyes closed. Sometimes you can get a better look at something if you close your eyes and see it with your mind's eye. And the more you do it, the stronger it will get. We get really good at what we practice. The seventh chakra is just above the head, the crown chakra. It's our connection with the divine spirit, with the universe, with all that surrounds us, with something bigger than us. So you see how these three chakras are about being, and these lower three are about human. The heart is the bridge between the human and the being. It's where they all come and swirl together. There are two lines of energy that are wrapping around each other. Interesting that I pulled this card when I was going to show you. This medicine symbol that we use is inspired by the chakra systems, actually. This is Ida and Pingala, the left and the right, the feminine and the masculine energies, wrapping around the spinal cord, and all along our spinal cord is an energetic spinal cord called the Sushumna Nadi. So those are the 10 major energy centers. We did the 7 chakras, and then Sushumna Nadi is the big, just strong spinal cord of energy that runs throughout all the 7 chakras, and wrapping around it like a braid are Ida and Pingala. So that's the chakra system, and you can use the chakras, chakra, you'll hear it both ways. My mentor says chakra. You can use the chakra system to tune in and notice, like, okay, what do I need more of? What do I need less of? Let me try to alter there. So, are you seeing clearly? Maybe you need to try to enhance this third eye chakra a little more. Are you speaking up for yourself? Are you finding time to sing? Maybe you need more energy and attention spent on your fifth chakra. Are you able to find forgiveness, love, compassion, gratitude? Strengthen that heart. Are you feeling like you don't deserve or you're not worthy? That's when this chakra needs a lot of work. The second chakra, if you're just feeling like you're in a slump, not feeling creative, not feeling sexy, not feeling energized or nurturing, second chakra is where to focus. If you're feeling like your very basic needs, toilet paper, food, shelter, are at risk, the root chakra is where to focus. And when I say focus on these, I invite you to simply sit in meditation, and we're going to have a whole 6 hours worth of content on meditation. And during your meditations, you can just kind of hold in your Vijnana Maya, your witness body, hold the space that you need more work on. Maybe it's 2, maybe it's 3. And if you don't know what needs work, always focus on the heart, because it expands to everything. You can focus in your meditation, bringing extra energy and balance into the chakra that needs it. This will conclude this portion, this chakra portion of our weekend together. Namaste.